we're at Holiday World, which is actually here in Indiana.
This is Indiana?
So we're back out here with Coasting Thunder. Today's a scout day. We're just gonna check out the park, learn where we can fly from, learn what the roller coasters are, because tomorrow we're coming back with the park fully closed and we have free reign to do whatever we want. Let's get it.
Welcome to the wild side. Wild, wild, wild. Welcome to the wild side. Wild side.
It's just a small crew we're working with today.
just a few guys, you know.
Just a couple guys.
What all is this?
It's just, you know, a baby camera.
A baby. I like that you have a full easy rig just for a red Komodo.
Oh.
Like, here, I'm gonna get the smallest cinema camera on the market.
Hey, when I put a freaking TV monitor on the side, it gets pretty heavy.
Well, the first roller coaster that we had to do was Thunderbird. We wanted to make a video that combined all three of the coasters into one video in particular. So not only were we thinking about flying each coaster individually, but it was how do we transition from one coaster to the other. This video is focused just on our filming of Thunderbird because there was a lot of setup, a lot of process, and we wanted to kind of demonstrate how we're doing it safely, how we're thinking through the process of filming this coaster, starting without the cart on it. Then we flew it with the cart, but it was empty. Then we started adding people and we put the people only in the front. So the goal was to show how we safely filmed Thunderbird here at Holiday World Park, and then the next video is going to show how we combined all of the different pieces into one video. So we're talking about doing the first scout, and to scout we might as well just ride, so we're gonna go ride. Before we get on any rides, Sonoran Desert Institute's UAS program has asked me to break down all of the gear that I bring on a professional FPV gig. The theme is backup. I've got my goggles and my controller, but on top of that, I've also got duplicates. I've got another pair of goggles and another controller that works with all my drones, so that no matter what happens, I'm totally prepared. I've got 4 identical chargers, I've got 3 identical GoPros with tons of extra batteries to make sure that I'm able to get the shot no matter what happens. I've got tools, I've got extra ND filters, and I keep all of my batteries in a LiPo-safe bag. I bring at least 10, sometimes and usually many, many more. On top of all of that, I've got a bag full of props to make sure that I don't run out of props because they get broken in FPV a lot. I got tons of different charging accessories, including multi-chargers for USB to charge all of my goggles and controller and GoPros and all that. I bring a lot of tape just because it's always useful, and tons of different charging accessories. Thank you so much, SDI, for sponsoring this segment of the video. Everybody that's watching, please go check out the link to their UAS program. Show them love because they show us love. Thanks very much for watching. Let's get back to the video. I'm really focused on getting the scouting done, right? Like the whole point of today, coming while it's open, apart from like getting all of the context of what's going on, is I want to make sure I understand what is going to be possible with the drone. Because, you know, signal doesn't always go through all things. There's limits on range. And so I'm looking for spots to be able to film the whole roller coaster in one. And because it goes pretty far back in the woods and does the part around the barn and the actual loop that's back there, I've got to figure out a way to fly good, clear line of sight and video to the entire roller coaster so I can chase the whole thing all at once, which would be the dream shot. I'm excited. We're gonna have to do some testing tomorrow and then go for the real shot.
What you got there, Jeff?
How many guys does it take to push a camera cart? Apparently like 9. 9 guys is the answer.
How much stuff you got on there?
A lot of 9 guys worth of stuff. A lot of stuff.
We just had some food and we're heading onto the longest roller coaster here and like one of the longer ones in the country. It's like over 2 minutes. If there's one time today that I'm gonna throw up, it's right now.
You're gonna sit behind Nurk, right?
I'm gonna sit behind him?
Oh yeah.
How is his meal settling?
And I gotta figure out, can we fly this one or what chunks of it can we fly? Because it's really long and sprawling, so let's get on it and go.
Long and sprawling like the chunks he's about to throw.
Let's do this. This is the best way to do roller coasters. You see all those guys back there, like on the other side of the tracks? They hate us now because we're cutting the lines from the back. They've been waiting in line for a while. And I'm okay with it. That was brutal. Like, just like constant, just. But like, I don't know how we're gonna chase that with a drone, right? We went underground like 4 times. Like if we had all day to tackle it, like I think I could do some really cool stuff, especially with the tunnels.
Like I'm gonna have to like kind of skip a lot and just like wait for the coaster to come back and like, you know, which play it safe isn't my style, you know. I want to get that shot. When you go over a crest with speed, so like when you get that like 0G feeling because you're like launching over it, it's really hard to keep the nose down and keep them in frame and change your momentum from up to down. I don't know how we're gonna do this. We're gonna have to get segments only. It's also super long.
So I have to ask, can you get it in one take?
No. Last ride of the day, Raven. One last thing to scout, then we're out of here for the day. Coming back tomorrow to fly. I can't believe we got me. So we rode Raven. It's pretty funny to try to like ride and enjoy a ride and experience a ride and scout it all at the same time. But I was watching, for the most part, there's a lot of really like low overhanging tree branches. There's a lot of tunnels and stuff that we had to go through. So I'm kind of curious to see like what we're gonna be able to do. It's all pretty contained, so I think we can get at least a lot of it in one shot. Probably not the whole thing in one shot, but it's gonna be really, really fun to fly that coaster because it's all so compact and condensed. You're just gonna be like weaving through the forests of Endor. Okay, so we're all done with our scout day. Tomorrow we're actually coming back to do the flying. This place is gonna be completely closed, so we're gonna figure out if we can actually get into these coasters done. It's gonna be really, really challenging to be able to fly the coaster and get like a majority of it. The Thunder Chicken coaster is gonna be probably the easiest problem to solve, but the two Woody roller coasters are gonna be a challenge. So let's see what happens tomorrow. I'm not sure that we can do the whole thing, but the segments that we do get, it's gonna be Forest Moon of Endor, like just like the trees motion blurring and the coaster.
I love the lake.
It's gonna be so cool. Okay, so yesterday we did a full scout day. We're now back at Holiday World and Splash and Safari to get these shots of the coasters. We know how we're gonna do them, now we just have to execute today. So our first mission of the day is to do a one-shot take of Thunderbird. It's this roller coaster behind us, and it does all sorts of big, high, whippy loopies, and it's really fast, and I'm trying to figure out like where's the best spot to fly it from. During our scout yesterday, I saw a couple of good potentials, but I just found the perfect spot to film this coaster from. Not only does the coaster go back here, back over there behind these buildings, and back into the woods over here, I have line of sight of everything from right down here. Literally, I've got the main first loop, second loop, third loop, all the way back into the woods. My only concern is like the very last section over there, but I think that we'll have enough power to kind of just punch through this building. As long as we have visual observers everywhere, we should be good to go. The old Atmospheric Adventures throwback. All call. This is drone team. We are going for a scouting run, flying directly along the course of the coaster. If there's any problems with that, please call back. Did it actually go through? Let's fly some drones. Okay, so I am just running the line of the coaster right now. Just trying to test where video might be weird. Coming back down, going up the first loop. Woo-hoo-hoo. Guys, remember this is a day of work. Oh, this is gonna look so sick. Okay. Feeling good, really good video everywhere. I have no idea if I'm anywhere near the right speed. Down, a little corkscrew action. That's gonna look insane. Okay, now I'm in the worst spot, video-wise. Still really good, 24, 27 milliseconds. Into the barn, out of the barn. Turning around back behind the barn. Nothing too bad there. Second corkscrew. Coming along back to the start finish. Make sure we're not going over top of anybody. Still at the start finish.
And body like 10, 15 degrees right is for that bad part, so I think you're pretty good where you're at.
Yeah, it's honestly solid all the way around. Okay, I'm coming into land. Okay, so we've got video on the whole thing. So we are clear to fly all the way around from here. Like, the video is great, even straight behind me with these patch antennas. The only spot that it slightly got sketchy was the deep corner, which we knew was gonna be a problem, but it actually wasn't bad at all. So the only thing left is to kind of figure out if we can do the speed, and it's just a matter of dialing it in from there. So I think we've got the speed. Obviously I can give more camera tilt if I need to, but I think we're in a really good spot. So they're currently rigging up the coaster with a bunch of different cameras on board. So not only are we gonna have the drone perspective, but we're gonna have different GoPros on board. We're taking my free fly wave and they're actually mounting it right on front of it to be able to have like a slow-mo reaction of him being like, oh, you know, like stuff like that. It's gonna be it's gonna be the perfect tool for that. So once they're done rigging all this up, they're gonna send it for 2 test runs, a couple test runs, then they're gonna start getting people on it. We'd use all of that as time to practice with the drone. We're just gonna be like watching your eyes look around like,
I want to see the eyes like jiggle inside the eye socket.
it's gonna be so good.
How do you think Nerf's gonna do here?
I think he's gonna crush it. I mean, I think this is gonna be super easy. Doing like 2 takes and that's it.
They're finishing rigging up the coaster. We're headed back down to our flying spot. We're gonna get a couple runs during test runs. And yeah, I feel pretty good. I think we're gonna be able to get a lot of knowledge done in the first 2 runs and then go for the actual run once we get people on it. That's a run like 40 times in that. Drone is taking off now. Oh, it slows down a lot right there, holy cow. I managed to chase the first one. I skipped the barn, just kind of gauging out the different speeds that the thing is moving. Just super doable in terms of keeping up with it. I got some really good framing, really good options. Just gotta dial in those tighter sections like the barn. I did the last corkscrew, I did the first corkscrew. The barn section I did not go through yet. So I gotta go on the barn. That's good to know. Good note. The barn is hard just because we're dropping in with speed, yeah. I'm ready to get in the air. Launching, clear prop.
We did it in 1 take. You got it.
Okay, did the full coaster. I cheated the barn a little bit because it kind of has like a kind of kickback and then it goes down. So I kind of, when it kicks off, I just kind of go and get underneath it and meet through. That was that worked really well for the barn segment, which is the hardest part. I got a little bit, just a little nerves on that one actually. Just kind of was thinking too much about going. I was thinking too far ahead, so I need to kind of focus, be in the moment, and just work my way through the rest of the coaster. So feeling really good. So we're gonna load it up with people now, or on the front aspect of it. But I don't really plan on going over the cart too much, if at all. But they're all gonna be loaded in the front as well.
Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. You know I be on a what? Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a
I had one little bobble. It was in the corkscrew. I was trying to switch sides to get to the corkscrew. It like the way I just didn't quite get around the pole fast enough, and then I had to kind of back up and then come back in. and it kind of slowed me down for the rest of the take. So I want to fix that problem, and then we'll have it. Woo! It did, that felt good. I ended up having to check up on the exit of this loop because I was riding on the back right side, and if I come back over with them back right, I hit the down or the up of the loop. So I needed to switch to the left side and follow them left so that I can just kind of come out of the loop with them rather than having to check up and go to the other side. So that when I come down from that first drop, there's a windmill that I'm avoiding. I need to stay on the side of the windmill all the way up. Now I guess I need to just be right behind them and then cheat out left, and I'll come through. Yeah, okay. So one of the things that I hadn't thought about is that with my experience in racing, like I'm really good at learning a track really fast. And so, you know, I'm actually using the same techniques of like pre-visualization to figure out where I need to put the drone when, so that I can kind of practice it while we're in our downtime and then come back in and just execute every time.
Look at that pit stop, boys.
Clear prop,
Clear.
launching.
Clear in front.
12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Knocking, boots broom on Miley. When I pop out like a likeness. Polished, briefcase, no wallet. Just blew a bag like Scotsman. Killed that. In the AM going real fast. UK honey at the drill that bondsman. Bailed out, no conflict. Might have said I love her, but I never made a promise. She wants seed, told her nothing in a blossom. Badging me for info at the shipper to Wisconsin. Only good for the lozenge. My whole contact list hit it, I don't even want it. Sing, show the jet love, but it never meant much. Never make decisions off a head rush. I've been out of 10 bucks. IRS kept track for 10 months. Had to switch how I went about it. Dues paid, collected all the...
It was close, but I was just trying to get a little bit of a wipe, a little bit of funness.
It's going great, man. How's audio?
Whew. Yeah, so we're definitely struggling with the launch timing. Like we had some good ones and then we had some not great ones. The problem is like we'd get our best like run through the rest of the coaster when we didn't get the timing on the launch right. And then we get the timing on the launch right and I maybe had a bobble or two. So I think there's gonna be a combination of two different shots that are gonna be the best. There's a bunch of single takes of it, just not all of them are perfect. And we were going for perfect, but we're also running out of time. So we need to know when to cut it because, you know, we can't just burn all day on this one coaster when we have at least 2 others to film and we don't have that much time to do it. So we have the best that we can get. We're moving on out. That is so good.
It's so good.
I freaking love it, dude.
You can see when the G's hit him, his throat gets tight.
60,000 frames.
So thank you for coming along on this adventure of filming Thunderbird. We wanted to show the process by which we were safely operating and safely filming this awesome coaster. This video is going to continue in a part 2 where we hit the other roller coasters and then tie them all together to make a kind of single take sort of feel video with the team at Coasting Thunder. So thanks very much for watching. We hope that you really enjoyed this adventure and stay flying.
Never made a promise.